Hey, inspectors, just wanted to let you know that we will be closing the Whole Inspector merch interest form at the end of our 12-hour, 100-episode celebration stream, Friday, August 2nd. Once we order everything based on the interest forms, they'll be available as a limited run on my website. Once they're gone, they're gone. Oh, yeah, I guess we're doing a 100-episode celebration, too. Anyway, here's Holes!
We will inspect your homes, your home right now.
No kids allowed.
Oh,
Get out
did
of
you
here.
know that the movie The Shining came out in 1980?
Oh, did you know
It's
it
kind
took
of a
3 years
cult
to
classic.
film? So it was actually filmed 3 years prior?
So 1977 is when it was filmed, is what you're saying?
I have a button that says, do you think someone would do that? Just go on the internet and tell lies. And unfortunately, you can't hear that. So I'm just going to say that out to you.
Oh, okay. So it was filmed in 77? That's wild.
Poinsettia, I was lying.
No! Am I the a-hole for not moving my wedding date? My fiance and I recently got engaged, and when looking at dates, we realized our anniversary falls on a Saturday this year. Perfect, right? We immediately start planning because it's approximately 9 months out and we have to move quick to pull a wedding together. We told everyone the potential date this weekend and all seemed well. Monday, I get a call from my father. He insists that I move the date because my mother has a yoga retreat that weekend. You can't just not go to your yoga retreat for a weekend for your kid's wedding? I tell him that this date means a lot to me and I would prefer to keep it if there was any way to move the retreat. There is, but it's expensive. I offer to pay for this change out of my wedding budget, essentially halving the amount that I can spend on the most important event of my life. Yesterday, I was told that they would not be taking my offer to pay to move the retreat and that we're expected to move the wedding instead. I haven't put money on my venue yet, so they think I should be fine with giving up the chance to marry on a date that means a lot to me. It became a massive fight, and now my parents and I aren't speaking. My father accused me of caring about a date more than I care about my mother. The hypocrisy of these GD boomers, I swan to John. I told him that it felt as though they were choosing yoga over their own daughter.
Poinsettia. It sounds like you've got 2 new seats at your wedding that can be filled up with other people, Princess. I think the mom's hooking up with the yoga instructor.
Oh, a twist here. So there's a separate update post for this one.
Oh, okay. Oh,
So
okay.
we're going to take both of these posts into account for our judgment at the end. Update. Hey everyone, it's been a while, forgot my password, but a few people asked for updates on how my last post turned out. Unfortunately, a lot of you may not like the answer. Oh. Almost all of you said to not change the date and to enjoy the time without them there. I followed half of that advice. I eventually did relent to my family and change the date of my wedding. No! What? My fiance and now husband said that the date wasn't as important as my happiness, and the fighting with my parents was destroying that. Now, after 6 months, we both wish we hadn't because it was useless. They still didn't show up!
It would be. That's the next line? Oh my god.
They still didn't show up!
I was just gonna say, obviously, if they're gonna treat you with that little respect, then doing whatever they want isn't gonna make them respect you anymore. The only thing you can do is set up firm boundaries and stick to them. But instead, they changed them and still didn't get what they'd hoped for. Of course, flippin' boomer parents.
Not only
Man,
that, but they convinced 90% of my family to not show up either.
I ended up with only 4 relatives there in a crowd of about 100 guests.
Wow.
What kind of cult did you come from? How do they have that much sway over your family?
The parents literally went behind their back to get other people to not attend in secret. My mother claimed that I had been, quote, excluding her from planning by scheduling venue tours on days that my fiance and I were both free, but I didn't realize she was working, and by finding my dress by surprise on a just here to look trip without her being there. They hadn't shown any interest in planning, so I mainly didn't want to bother them. To them, this was, quote, clearly a sign you don't want us there, end quote. So they went out of town on the new date.
They were going to
Yup.
find something regardless. It doesn't matter what it was. They were going to find something to make you at fault.
In the end,
Man.
narcissist mother still got her yoga. I still moved my date, and I still walked myself down the aisle. But my
Her dad
petty
didn't
self
come
did,
either?
in fact, strike back. Oh, I made sure that I left obvious empty seats marked for them and told everyone the truth with a smile when they asked. The few family members that did show are now no longer speaking to them either, as are all of the friends who came. The only exception is my brother, who I'm pretty sure they asked to relay the details of the party to them, and even he has almost entirely cut them out due to how they've acted. I haven't spoken to my mother since about a month before the wedding, when she told me to get all of my old things out of her house. I speak to my father very rarely and only over things like deaths in the family. My in-laws have basically taken me as their own, and I'm far happier than I ever was with the nightmare of the family I grew up with. Life is good.
The only thing I can say is that's a very expensive lesson to have gone through, but at least it sounds like that is the last large lesson that you'll have to need to spend so much time on, so much effort on, in order to make the separation that was necessary for change, positive change in your life.
Exactly.
Luckily, you've been able to cut out all the toxic people from your life and proceed forwards with those who will care about you unconditionally, rather than clearly those who had conditions put upon you.
Very, very many conditions. This one's about Tic Tacs. We want to do a Tic Tac post?
Like stinky breath Tic Tac, or like
I think so.
AITA by not telling my doctor how many Tic Tacs I eat per day. So I'm absolutely effing obsessed with the fruit adventure flavor of Tic Tacs. The flavor combined with the soft smush they make between your teeth as you chew them makes my brain very happy.
This Tic
I've been
Tac
buying
post
them
is
in bulk, where each
borderline
container has
pornographic.
200 candies each. And they come in bulk packets of 12 containers. I tend to eat them by the handful while I'm working or gaming. So in a day, I can easily slam through 1 to 2 containers.
Oh my gosh.
Now, keep in mind that on the nutrition label, it says the serving size is 1 candy and is listed as having 0 calories, which I thought was awesome because I could have as many as I want. Uh-oh. Not in America. Not in America. Uh-oh. Did you know that they are technically small enough per serving, which is 1 Tic Tac, to be legally listed as having no sugar in them, despite them being almost entirely sugar?
Yup. Esports.
Over the past year, I found that I gained about 40 pounds, and nothing about my eating habits had changed as far as I was aware.
I'm shoveling Tic Tacs into my mouth by the handful, but my eating habits haven't changed.
One size. I told my doctor about it, and she was a bit worried. So she had me do a bunch of blood work to see if there was a reason why I gained so much weight in a short period of time. Everything came back normal. She referred me to see a weight loss doctor who would also have me see a dietitian. I had been working with a dietitian for a few months now, and we have me keep a good food log. I had a virtual visit with her today, and during it, I was fiddling around with an empty container to keep my hands busy. She saw it and asked where I got such a large container from. So I told her about it and how I eat 1 to 2 of those per day. She asked why those weren't on my food tracker, and I said it was because there's 0 calories, so they wouldn't count. Apparently, I was very, very wrong about this. She explained to me that food companies can label something as being 0 calories if the food serving size contains 5 or less calories. In reality, each individual Tic Tac is about 2 calories. So essentially, since the container has about 200 pieces and I have 1 to 2 of those, I've been eating 400 to 800 plus calories per day of Tic Tacs, in addition to all the other food that I've been eating, which is very likely why I've gained so much weight.
See, I
they
was
are.
thinking that a singular Tic Tac was somehow less than a calorie, and that's why it wasn't. I didn't know that they didn't have to list it as being any calories if it was 5 or less. Hey, that's f***ed up.
Edit. Just want to clarify that I'm aware that sugar will still in fact make you gain weight. I'm not that stupid.
So
I
you can
never
mark
actually-
Reddit sucks here, like, immediately. Great.
But I never actually read the product ingredients. I assume that they must have been made with something like xylitol or some other artificial sweetener to make them 0 calories. Dang, yeah, I mean, Reddit is coming at them for having been taken advantage of by a food company. Okay,
Yeah, right.
It's not their fault.
Right.
What was your vote on this, Beeps?
Oh, absolutely an a-hole.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Oh.
absolutely. You literally
Oh.
went to the doctor who said you need to go to a dietary specialist, and that you need to see a weight loss specialist, and that weight loss specialist is going to give you a dietitian. You're gonna do an entire food log to catalog all of your intake throughout the entire day. Oh, but Tic Tacs don't count. You're not cataloging things by their calories. You're cataloging all of the things you put in your mouth.
It's such a strange amount of something to be putting in you without listing it. If it was like,
Right.
you know, I have 3 or 4 Tic Tacs a day for minty breath or whatever.
Yeah, that's
fine.
negligible.
You leave that
Right.
out. But fistfuls?
Fistfuls.
Oh my God. I'm considering saying A just for how much time they wasted.
They wasted so much time from these professionals.
I had been working with a dietitian for a few months now. Months. And they're doing this on the daily, and they have a food log on the daily. Oh my God, they're totally an a-hole.
Yep. Daily food log. They're not the a-hole to anyone else but themselves, though. I think that was the first one. I've got a few more curated holes here.
Sure.
But something that I like to do when we have guests on is have our guest give us a keyword search for an Am I the Hole post.
Gender.
Gender. The top Am I the A-hole gender post. This couldn't go bad or weird at all, right?
AITA, telling my parents to pay me back my college tuition if they want a relationship. I was raised by parents who believed religiously and just culturally in rigid gender roles.
Oh.
Dad should work, mom should stay home with the kids. I'm the only girl and have 3 brothers. Because of their expectation, I'd stay home with the kids. Hold on, as the daughter? Oh no. They
What?
never valued my educational achievements, or emphasized things beyond domestic skills. I'm the second youngest. By the time I was in high school, my 2 older brothers had gone to college of their choice, with my parents fully covering tuition, books, and off-campus apartment and other living expenses. They eventually did the same for my younger brother. I was told I wasn't allowed to apply for college. I did so in secret and got accepted with a partial scholarship. I didn't tell them I was moving out until a week before I left with essentially nothing but what a few friends gave me that their parents bought them, air quotes, for college. I took engineering and had to work, take on debt, and struggle.
Oh my gosh.
My parents and I have barely spoken for years. I'm married now and expecting our first child. They asked to meet up. We met at a park. And they said they were, quote, sorry if they caused me pain, end quote, but would like a relationship now. I asked them specifically what they were sorry for. They wouldn't elaborate and just said they wanted to move forwards. I love that. I said that wasn't sufficient. In the end, I said they could prove they were sorry by forwarding me the $100K my degree and college expenses were, just like they did for my brothers. My mom burst into tears, my dad said I wasn't being serious, and I just left. Since then, I've been getting calls from my brothers telling me I'm being immature and hurtful. I don't think so at all. My parents and I have barely spoken for years. I'm married now and expecting our first child. They've missed a lot of milestones.
Oh,
They
yeah.
missed school, they missed education, they missed graduation, they missed work, they missed meeting the partner, they missed the marriage, and they missed the family planning.
Yep.
There's a lot that went by. Obviously, the information is going to be filtered from the parents to the brothers,
Right.
and they're going to say, the only way we can speak to her, I can almost guarantee they'd say, she won't even let us speak to her unless we pay her $100,000. And the sons will be like, oh my God, you can't be serious. Just talk to them. They want to do better. They want to fix things. They're not confronting the issues that they actually presented the daughter with. They're not discussing. They're not changing. They're not recognizing what they did wrong. So I don't see a path forward with them based on what they're willing to offer. So I think her expectation from them to present her with what she's saying would help resolve the situation is reasonable. I think she's an NTA.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think because it's not about the money when you get down to it. It's about showing respect. It's about acknowledging her independence. It's about acknowledging her as her own fully formed, capable person.
AITA for sending a price sheet to my family after not being invited to my half-sister's wedding. There you go. Like an invoice? Yeah, like an itemized invoice.
Yeah.
With all the items listed. Let's get straight to the point. I, Tutu-F, am a full-time baker for a small business and college student. I moved back up to my home state in September of 2023, mostly to get away from my toxic family and for better opportunities. Also, to add to why this is even an issue in the first place, my brother, Jay, 25M, and I are the black sheep of the family, mostly due to the fact that we were born and mostly raised outside of marriage. The teasing and neglect only grew worse after our mother, 44F, married Jerkfish, 54M, and had our half-siblings, 20F, 17M, 16M, and 11M. Now, here's the dilemma. My half-sister, who we will call JoJo, 20F, is getting married to Rit, 22M, in July. They're not related, even though they didn't specify. My mom and grandma asked that I make them a wedding cake, which I would have happily agreed to if I was invited to the wedding. The thing is, they wanted me to make a cake fit for 200 people. Get a hotel near them. They hate that I'm not a Christian, so they think I'll bring evil into their house. Oh my God, can't stay with the family because you don't go to church on Sunday.
Oh my
Do you even
God.
have the Lord in your heart? I pray to Jesus, bless your heart. Work for 3 days and get a flight there and back. I'd have to pay for all of it. They think it'd be a nice gift to my sister. I just laughed and sent them my price sheet. They flipped out. I was bombarded with texts from them about how selfish I am, how I am truly vile, how I am toxic for expecting my family to pay for my cake when they could just go to Walmart to get one, etc.
So you could just go to Walmart to get a cake for 200 people? I don't think so.
I don't think so. JoJo, that is the sister getting married to Rhett. JoJo even messaged me on Discord a week after I had sent the price sheet and asked why I would charge her when I made my best friend a free wedding cake. Not only was I invited to her wedding, meaning the friend, but I was the maid of honor, MOH, and in a way, it was a returning the favor for being genuinely good friend and helping me out when I was going through a lot. No need to justify that. That's completely understood.
Absolutely.
The brother is Jay,
the other
who's the
black sheep of the family. Yeah.
Jay and his wife had said, I'm not wrong for it, and they'd do the same, and my boyfriend is on my side. However, a few people in my life are saying I should have just said a simple no instead of sending the sheet, and that my response to my sister was harsh. So, I need an outside perspective. Hopefully other bakers on here too. AITA?
I mean, they're literally asking to commission your service. Of course you would send them a price sheet.
So, give us free cake. Give us free work time. Hold on. It's not a business that she owns. 22 female, full-time baker for a small business.
Yeah.
So it's time away from the business as well.
I thought
has
she
to compensate
owned
her
the
place
bakery.
of work. She doesn't own the bakery. She's a small-time baker there. And she's 22.
Oh
she's
my
young.
God.
We have an update after the AITA. All right, update number 1. I found out the exact reason for my brother's family and I not getting invited. Oh. Just family trauma. This is what I'm here for, honestly. 3 months after my sister and her soon-to-be husband got engaged, my grandmother requested my sister not invite the sinners. It was more along the lines of, quote, if you don't invite your siblings, you'll get a hefty
50 portion of my will.
Wow, that sounds very forgiving and Christian of you. Love thy neighbor. Love it. Wow.
Yeah.
You know, easier for the rich man to go into heaven than it is for a camel to go through a needle.
Everyone
eye,
knows that
right?
passage in the Bible where Jesus didn't invite the sinners.
Don't really know what the proper term for that is, but I digress. So my sister is catering to the needs of my racist grandmother over her own sisters. Wow, dropping that family lore. I also found out another reason, out of the many, why my brother and I were black sheep in the family. So you see, my mother is whiter than paper. My brother and I's biological father is Lakota Sioux Native American.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
We were told he just left us, quote, because that's how the savages act, end quote. When in reality, our dad died from terminal respiratory illness that he had since he was a toddler. Some cyst type of deal? Not too sure. The hatred from them only grew further when my brother married a black woman and had 3 nieces together. 4th on the way. I told JoJo how hurt I was by picking money over family, but I kinda expected it. She tried to offer me $50 to make the cake she wanted, and I just declined.
$50 for a cake to feed 200 people. That's
Don't even
more
cover supplies.
disrespectful than asking for it for free.
I shared this post with my brother, and he is rolling while reading the comments. All right, at least they're getting something out of it.
Good. That's disgusting. Like,
I mean,
there's...
at least the older people will be gone soon.
Thank God.
Womp womp.
Womp womp. So I think I'm leaning towards not the a-hole, or...
Princess, we're gonna need a funny one after this one.
Yeah, we can't end on that. This is
Princess.
depressing.
We need a helicopter type deal after this one.
Princess, I need you to helicopter for my grandparents. Whip it out in helicopter for Meemaw.
All right, let me vote on your poll prediction.
You're gonna vote on Princess. Vote on my poll.
Princess.
Am I the a-hole by showing my pee-pee to my wife's grandparents? So my wife and I have a very lighthearted relationship, and I like to joke around all the time with her and make her laugh. I do dumb things all the time to make her roll her eyes and call me an idiot jokingly. I was
Oh my
outside
God, you're gonna
barbecuing
walk
with
in on it.
headphones on
No.
and sipping a beer and listening to music. I look over to see my wife walking outside holding her phone up, obviously recording me or taking a pic. I instinctively pulled my shorts down and
Instinctively.
started
Not
doing
reflexively.
the helicopter.
Instinctively.
No way! You just
Not the
helicoptered
helicopter.
your wife's grandparents!
By reflex? By instinct? How often do you helicopter? Yeah, sorry, can you read that again?
I was outside barbecuing with headphones and sipping a beer and listening to music. I look over to see my wife walking outside holding her phone and obviously recording me or taking a pic. I instinctively pulled my shorts down and started doing the helicopter.
Okay, so barbecuing is done outside the house. Don't barbecue inside. You will go to sleep and not wake up.
Correct.
But he's doing this in public view. That is outside. That is public view. So anybody could be seeing this.
Well, we don't know how big the property is, whether they have close by neighbors, high fences, whatever.
I'm hoping that's explained further because so
I
far
also
the
hope
context
so.
that's given.
She immediately looked mortified and turned around quickly and went back inside. I was very confused at her face, so I finished flipping burgers quickly. My wife just looked horrified after doing my helicopter pee-pee dance. But I'm gonna finish up this grilling real quick. These burgers are gonna cook themselves, baby.
He prioritized not burning the meat. That's kind of awesome. Horrifying scenario. Kind of great that he was like, whoop. All right, let me finish flipping these.
Let me flip this back in so I can flip this meat. You know what I mean? I
If
finished
she was
flipping.
the only witness to this, that's great.
I
Considering
finished
she
flipping
wasn't,
burgers
maybe there were bigger
quickly,
priorities than
then
the
went
meat.
inside to find her with her head in her hands on the couch with her face red. I asked her what is wrong, and she told me she was video chatting with her grandparents, which she never did before.
He thought she was just filming a silly video of him. And he'd make it goofy by doing a goofy thing. All right, we're ready for more.
Showing them around our home and showing them me barbecuing. I have never met them before and have only seen pictures. This is your first time. This is your first impression even. Update. Well, Reddit friends, her grandparents certainly did not just ignore it and pretend it didn't happen, as I wish. My wife called them back last night, and luckily I wasn't home, but got the details of the conversation from her. She said that literally the first thing they said after saying hi is, "Do Canadian men often do this with their body?" One topic. I have a question for you.
As soon as you said that, I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense. There's a lot of people that live in the woods. All I'm saying is you have a certain expectation of privacy, of exclusion from peeping eyes, and his expectation was just that only her peeping eyes were seeing this.
True.
I can now see why there was that level of separation from, you know.
They're from a small country and have no exposure to Western media or people. My wife explained to them that I was just a lot of exposure. My wife explained to them that I was just joking and tried to explain the humor behind it. She said that she had a hard time not laughing while explaining this to them because they both had faces with extreme concern the whole time. They said that they discussed what they had seen with others in their village, and their neighbors were concerned that I was some vulgar animal or something. Wife didn't really understand the words they used in translation. Anyways, long story short, we are going to visit them next spring, and I am not looking forward to it. Hopefully we can video chat a few times before then so it won't be weird. And yes, before you say it, I will keep the chopper in the hangar for all these calls.
You know, based on the title, I was like, yeah, we'll see about this. And now I'm kind of glad we did see about this. Because it sounds like in the wife's good humor, she was kind of in on the like, oh, that's just Greg being Greg,
right.
You know? All right, so this post, multiple paragraphs. We just got to the end of it. How are you feeling about it?
No a-holes here.
Yeah, it seems like something was just lost in translation. And
no a-holes, but there's at least one pee-pee.
That's great. I'm down for that. That's fine. NTA? I'm down for NTA. Yeah.
We're playing Noida because I enjoy pain and suffering, I guess. And I love it when Chad is able to fuck with me and get me killed in the middle of trying to welcome our wonderful, beautiful new guests and raiders. Huh? You have to say it for yourself.
I'm your daddy.